Antarctica. The name evokes images of icy plains, towering glaciers, and penguins marching across the frozen landscape. For centuries, explorers risked their lives to reach this remote corner of the world, driven by a thirst for discovery. Today, Antarctica remains a place of wonder, captivating scientists, adventurers, and dreamers alike. But as technology advances and the pressure for resources grows, the question arises: could we colonize Antarctica? The challenges are immense, the environment unforgiving. Could we one day establish a permanent human presence in Antarctica? And if so, what would be the consequences? Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, and leave your like if you like what you see. Before we delve into the practicalities of colonizing Antarctica, we must first navigate the complex web of international law that governs this unique continent. The Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959 by 12 nations, designates Antarctica as a scientific preserve, prohibiting military activity, mineral mining, and nuclear explosions. However, the treaty does not explicitly forbid colonization, and several nations maintain territorial claims to parts of the continent. Any attempt to establish a permanent colony in Antarctica would undoubtedly reignite these territorial disputes and could potentially unravel the delicate legal framework that has maintained peace and stability in the region for decades. Imagine a place where the sun barely rises for months on end, where temperatures can plummet to -80 degrees Fahrenheit, and where hurricane-force winds whip across the icy plains. This is the reality of the Antarctic climate, a force of nature so extreme that it challenges the very limits of human endurance. The continent's location at the South Pole means that it experiences months of perpetual darkness in winter and months of continuous daylight in summer. The extreme cold poses even greater challenges. Exposed skin can freeze in minutes, and even the most advanced cold weather gear can only provide limited protection. Building structures that can withstand these conditions would require innovative engineering and constant maintenance. Antarctica is home to katabatic winds, which rush down from the high interior plateau towards the coast, reaching speeds of over 200 miles per hour. Survival in this harsh environment would require not only technological solutions, but also a profound understanding of and respect for the power of nature. Beneath its icy exterior, Antarctica harbors a surprisingly diverse ecosystem, teeming with life adapted to the extreme conditions. The Southern Ocean surrounding Antarctica is home to krill, tiny crustaceans that form the base of the food chain for penguins, seals, whales, and other marine animals. Changes in krill populations, whether due to climate change, overfishing, or other human activities, could have cascading effects throughout the entire ecosystem. On land, life clings to the few areas not covered in ice, such as the Antarctic Peninsula. Here, mosses, lichens, and 2 species of flowering plants eke out an existence, providing sustenance for small invertebrates and birds. These fragile ecosystems are easily damaged by human activity, and even footprints can take decades to disappear. The introduction of non-native species, whether intentional or accidental, poses another significant threat. Preserving the continent's unique ecosystem would require strict environmental regulations, careful planning, and a commitment to minimizing human impact. Section 5. Building on ice: logistical nightmares and engineering feats. Constructing and maintaining a permanent human settlement in Antarctica would be a logistical challenge of unprecedented scale. Transportation alone would be a Herculean task. Ships can only reach the continent during the relatively ice-free summer months, and even then, navigating through treacherous waters filled with icebergs is a perilous endeavor. Air travel is possible, but landing large aircraft on ice runways is difficult and weather-dependent. Once on the ground, transporting materials and people across vast distances would require specialized vehicles and infrastructure. Building roads or railways on ice presents unique challenges, and even tracked vehicles can struggle in the soft snow and uneven terrain. Growing crops in the Antarctic climate is impossible, and even greenhouses would require significant energy inputs. Overcoming these logistical hurdles would require cutting-edge technology, innovative engineering solutions, and a hefty financial investment. Remember, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, and leave your like if you like what you see. Section 6. The price of progress. Resource extraction and environmental impact. Beneath the ice and snow lie vast untapped resources including minerals, oil, and natural gas. As technology advances and the demand for resources grows, the pressure to exploit these riches will undoubtedly intensify. Mining in Antarctica would be a monumental undertaking, fraught with environmental risks. Oil and gas extraction would pose even greater threats, with the potential for spills and leaks devastating marine life and polluting pristine environments. Beyond the immediate environmental impact, resource extraction in Antarctica could exacerbate climate change. Burning fossil fuels releases greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. A sustainable future for Antarctica depends on our ability to resist the urge to plunder its resources and instead prioritize its preservation for future generations. Section 7. Frozen conflicts, political tensions, and international disputes. The Antarctic Treaty, while successful in preventing militarization and promoting scientific collaboration, did not erase the underlying political tensions surrounding the continent. 7 nations maintain territorial claims to parts of Antarctica, and these claims often overlap, creating a complex geopolitical landscape. The discovery of valuable resources beneath the ice could reignite these dormant disputes. Countries might be tempted to assert their claims more forcefully, leading to diplomatic standoffs or even military confrontations. The potential for conflict would escalate further if powerful nations outside the treaty system, such as China or Russia, decided to assert their interests in the region. The establishment of permanent settlements in Antarctica could also lead to new territorial disputes. Maintaining peace and stability in Antarctica in the face of increased human activity would require a renewed commitment to diplomacy, international cooperation, and a shared vision for the continent's future. Section 8. A global shift. Antarctica's influence on climate and sea levels. Antarctica might seem like a distant and isolated continent, but its fate is intricately linked to the future of our entire planet. The vast ice sheets covering Antarctica contain about 90% of the world's ice and 70% of its fresh water. If all of this ice were to melt, it would raise global sea levels by a staggering 200 feet or 60 meters. Climate change is already causing the Antarctic ice sheet to melt at an alarming rate. Colonizing Antarctica could accelerate this process. Human activities, such as transportation, construction, and energy production, release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, contributing to further warming. Protecting Antarctica from the worst effects of climate change is not just an environmental imperative, it's a matter of global security. Section 9. The human element, life under the Antarctic sun. Let's imagine for a moment that we overcome the logistical, environmental, and political challenges of colonizing Antarctica. What would life be like for the people who choose to make this icy continent their home? The extreme isolation, harsh climate, and limited access to resources would demand a high degree of self-sufficiency, adaptability, and resilience from its inhabitants. Indoor farming and hydroponics would be essential for food production, while water would likely come from melted ice, requiring careful conservation and recycling. Social interactions would be limited to the small, close-knit community within the colony. Communication with the outside world would rely heavily on technology, with internet access potentially limited by bandwidth and weather conditions. Life in an Antarctic colony would be a constant test of human ingenuity, adaptability, and resilience. Section 10. Ethics of Exploration. Should we colonize the last wilderness? Proponents of colonization argue that it would advance scientific research, provide access to valuable resources, and offer a unique opportunity for human expansion and exploration. Opponents counter that colonization would inevitably harm Antarctica's fragile ecosystem, disrupt its pristine environment, and potentially exacerbate climate change. The ethical dilemma lies in balancing the potential benefits of colonization against the risks to the environment and the inherent rights of nature. Some argue that we have a moral obligation to protect Antarctica for future generations, while others believe that humans have a right to explore and settle even the most remote corners of our planet. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to colonize Antarctica is a collective one, requiring careful consideration of the scientific, environmental, political, and ethical implications. Section 11. Looking ahead. Antarctica's uncertain future. The future of Antarctica hangs in the balance. Will we choose to preserve this icy wilderness as a global commons, dedicated to scientific research and international cooperation? Or will the allure of resources and the ambition for expansion lead us down a path of exploitation and potential conflict? Strengthening the Antarctic Treaty. Expanding its provisions to address emerging challenges like climate change and resource management, and ensuring compliance from all nations will be crucial for safeguarding Antarctica's future. Investing in scientific research is paramount. The choices we make today will determine whether this icy continent remains a pristine wilderness or succumbs to the pressures of human ambition. Section 12. Our footprint in the snow, a legacy for generations to come. As we stand at the precipice of a new era of exploration and potential colonization, we must remember that our actions in Antarctica will have far-reaching consequences. Every decision we make, every step we take on this icy land, will leave an indelible mark. Will it be a mark of respect, of scientific curiosity, of international collaboration? Or will it be a scar of exploitation, of conflict, of disregard for the delicate balance of nature? The future of Antarctica is a reflection of our own values, our priorities, and our vision for the future of humanity's relationship with our planet. Let us choose wisely, for the eyes of future generations are upon us, and they will judge us not by our words, but by the footprints we leave behind in the snow. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, and leave your like if you like what you see. See you next time.